Alright, this is Bob. So what I look at on the above water portion of this is your stroke extension, or how far you reach forward, your body position, which is usually looking at where your hips and legs are relative to your upper body, and then rotation, or do you turn side to side or not. So your extension is pretty good, but it could be better. The way I can tell that is there's a lot of space in between your shoulder and your head when you reach forward. So basically your arm is still a little bent when you're reaching forward. You want to fully extend your arm so you can cover as much water as possible with each stroke. Second thing you can notice there is that there's a bit of a like a leapfrog when you are taking your, basically pulling with your right arm. And when you're extending your right arm forward, your head goes all the way underwater. So that causes additional drag. Rotation-wise, you're doing pretty good. Again, it could be better. The rotation will be a result of your extension. So the better you extend, the more you'll rotate side to side. The rotation is important because it improves your streamline, or presents less surface area to the water. Body position is also pretty good. It looks like your hips and legs might be a little low, so you could be a little higher and a little more streamlined there. Now when you start out, your head's not going underwater, but it's once you get going, your head starts to really go up and down. So there you can see how it's really kind of leapfrogging out of the water. So that does create some streamline issues. And that's all with the extension on the right arm. Now you're not crossing over, so that's good. Alright, and then underwater. Your stroke is on the right side, what I call the elbow slip. You recall we were discussing that? Or the elbow leads the stroke back, so you want your hand and your forearm to go vertical relative to the bottom of the pool, or you're just not getting that much of a quote-unquote grab on the water. Your left arm is in between that straight arm pull and elbow slip, so you're sort of pulling down at the beginning, and then the elbow slips and you pull back in the second half of that on the left arm. And you can see you have a pretty good kick. So here we were working on long extension. And you can see that looks a lot smoother. This was the catch-up drill. Your arms could still be straightened out when you're extending forward there. You can see there's a bend in the elbow. So that's something to work on. But if you watch this part and then go back and watch the initial way you're swimming, I mean, this is definitely smoother. I don't think it's faster at the moment, but if you were to work on this, you could get this sort of stroke, or a modified smooth catch-up stroke, to be pretty powerful. This is the same thing. Now underwater is a different story. Underwater I could see from here that you're still slipping with the right elbow. So that's another thing you work on these drills. You know, one part is extension and smooth swimming. The other part is the mechanics of the underwater pull. So this is one arm drill. Again, the way I can tell, you know, now you're doing the above water portion correctly. The way I can tell what's going on underwater is when you're pulling back, I can still see most of your hand and your forearm, right until you're almost 2/3 of the way through the stroke. So you want that hand and forearm to kind of disappear or angle downward. That's the first thing that happens after the extension. You extend, and then the hand and forearm begin angling down. So one arm just underwater. You don't worry too much about body position when you're doing one arm drill. Obviously your momentum and speed is not as fast. It's a little bit of a better catch there with the right arm on that one arm drill. So and then this was regular swimming, thinking as much as you could about getting the catch, and that's improved from the initial part of the lesson here. You can see how much of that head goes up and down, so that's quite a bit of motion. The other thing is with your right arm, you're extending forward and down quite a bit. If you don't really start the catch until, you know, if your hand is 3 feet below the surface of the water and then you start your catch, you're going to miss out on all that water that you could pull otherwise. So extend forward and straight ahead or even up. And at the end here, there's a couple of screenshots. So there you got the extension. You can see the elbow's still slightly bent. And then beginning the pullback with the elbow leading the stroke there. It's not until this point where your hand and forearm have gone pretty vertical, and then you follow through with the rest of the stroke, which is good. Here's the right arm extending forward and down, still going down before you've begun the stroke. Starting to bring it back with the elbow leading the stroke, and then here comes the hand and forearm angling down. So not until pretty late in the stroke did you really start to get a catch there, and then finishing the stroke, which is good.